I get asked a lot, as well as read a lot of people asking, how should an ABDL act in public? Well, I guess that would be whatever would be appropriate for the environment that you're in. I think people in the ABDL community need to look deeper into this question than most kinks or fetishes do. I mean, if you're into leather, you can just, strap on something leather and, go out on the town. In ABDL, if you just strap on a diaper and go out onto the town, you're probably going to spend your night downtown getting fingerprinted. So how should ABDL act in public? Again, appropriate to the environment, or for easier terms, the way that you normally would act in public. I mean, would you normally just wear a diaper and a onesie out in public? Probably not. But some people do, I guess. I think if you're in public with a caregiver or big or something of that nature, and they want to give you a pet name or a nickname that they call you while out, I think that's perfectly acceptable. People do it all the time. It's nothing, there's no difference. And you calling them mommy and daddy, sure, why not? If the person overhears you and they get offended, that's what they get for sticking their ears in somebody else's conversation. Now, I wouldn't have them feeding you, as it were, because, well, you'd probably get quite a few weird looks for that one. But when we're talking about how we as ABDL and DLs should act in public, we also have to remember that there is a negative image to ABDL and DL. Yes, most is wrong. And when somebody says, on their video, oh, I'm not lying, well, no, you're just leaving out the truth. But that negative is still there. There's nothing we can do about it. It's going to be there. It's like a damn cockroach. And honestly, I mean, when you're out in public, do you really want to give them more fire than necessary, more fuel for their fire? But like with all things, you got to know your audience, basically. Are you going somewhere that's ABDL, DL event, where wearing a diaper and a onesie and acting like a little would be appropriate for? Are people at whatever location you're going to, whether it be dinner, an event, or something like that, are they going to be cool with you being in just a diaper? Most important questions is, will there be children around? Depending on the answers to those questions would depend on how you act in public. As I've said many times, I'm all about people being who they are. If you're ABDL, you be the best damn ABDL you can be. But remember, there's limitations to even quality. So here's my opinion. And remember, it's my opinion. You can, like they say, take it with a grain of salt if you'd like. I think we should act in a way that shines the best light onto us as ABDL, DL. We need to change people's minds about what they've heard or what they think they know about ABDL, DL. That's kind of a way to get acceptance. I'm not into S&M. Never have been. Before I met people into S&M, I always thought that the sub did whatever the dom wanted, no questions asked. The sub had no voice in the relationship whatsoever. Then I met this really nice gay couple that was into the whole S&M scene. And I found out that the sub actually has a pretty big voice in as far as the relationship goes. And I found out that it's not all about the dom, it's all about the respect they have for each other. And by the way, that's the first time I ever heard the words safe word. I never heard of that before until then. But just by sitting and talking to them and learning about that particular kink or fetish, it changed my mind on what S&M really was. Now, mind you, again, I'm still not into it. It's still not my scene. But I have a lot more respect for people within that community now because I understand it more. Respect comes with understanding. So if we want to change minds of people out there, we need to start acting in a way that will change minds. We need to let them know that everything they've heard about ABDL is bullshit. We're not after children. We're not after this. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. We need to change their minds as far as what they perceive as being ABDL. Because remember, people look at ABDL and they immediately, their perception is that we are just sick people. And perception is reality. What somebody perceives is their reality. I hear all the time people in the LGBTQ plus community, kinks, fetishes, lifestyles outside the norm, always talking about how they want to be treated equally. Well, remember, actions speak louder than words. You have to change the perception of what people think before you can change their minds. And on a little side note, my theory, and this is, again, is my opinion. Everything I talk about isn't the gospel according to Mark. It's just my opinion. And my opinion is when people say they want to be treated equally, then my response is, well, why don't you start acting like an equal? Don't act like you're superior. Don't act like you're any less. Act like an equal. So how should we act in public? Again, appropriate to the environment that we're in. I think going out to somewhere that's not meant for adults to be in diapers is inappropriate. I think ordering a pizza and having the pizza delivery show up and you answer the door in just a diaper is inappropriate. And that's what gives us such a negative perception. Normally, I would say I don't give a rat's ass about somebody's consent of hearing or seeing something. Because honestly, I didn't give them consent to butt in on a conversation between me and another person. And I'm not a loud talker when I'm talking. I'm not a loud talker at all. In fact, when I was growing up, my dad was one that was able to talk loud. The rest of us had to be like little mice and not say a word. But if you go out in public in a diaper or you answer the door in just a diaper, you're kind of forcing somebody into your fetishing and your kink, which I don't think is appropriate. So act appropriate for the environment that you're in or not. I mean, again, who the hell am I to tell you how to act in public? It's my opinion. And again, everything I talk about is not the gospel according to Mark. You can act however you'd like. You can do whatever you enjoy. I just like to give suggestions and show how we can maybe change the negative perception of the ABDL community. Always remember when you go out into public, always remember the customer service rule. If a customer gets bad experience, they go home and tell 3 people. Those 3 people tell 3 people. Those 3 people tell 3 people. And next thing you know, we have a nasty video coming up on YouTube from one of these clout chasers. You know the story after that. So like, subscribe, comment if you must, and until the next video, be blessed.